Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I have about 10 or 11 topics for this video, and they are related with US internal or domestic affairs, are related to Putin, who tells us exactly how things are, and it's not that he tells me that, we already knew that, who's behind and who's fighting with whom against whom. He comes and finally says it: the West is fighting us with the Ukrainians. So the Ukrainians are fighting for the West to destroy us. Brothers are fighting against one another. We have Donald Trump telling us that he warned Putin, and Putin didn't give a shit, I guarantee you that. We have the power of AIPAC, the Israeli or Jewish lobby in the United States of America, who attacks the Squad. If you remember, the progressive group with Ilhan Omar and others, there were already two of them from the Squad were ousted in the primaries by the individual, the candidate backed by AIPAC. And U.S. Representative Ilhan Omar is the next one that's going to fly away. That tells you the power of the lobby groups in Washington, D.C., the system that we have. We're also going to discuss about, I don't know if you noticed this, but I would say a great number of former officials from the former administration go to jail under the current administration. I know, you can't say, and I don't want you to say that, not even think about that the current administration is hunting down politically its opponents. Unless you agree with the narrative that the previous administration was so corrupted and committed so many crimes that this current administration is just restoring law and order. I give you Steve Bannon, jailed. They tried to jail Donald Trump, obviously. Then I remember that general at the beginning, the one who spoke with those guys in the name of the Turkish and so on, spoke with the Russians. They bankrupt that. Rudy Giuliani and many others. They're coming after the former administration. And not only, the examples are numerous. You can't find the same number before. So that tells you either the current administration is solid and the previous administration was so corrupt that these guys restore what we had before and even better. I don't buy that a bit. So we have another guy, another person, Tina Peters, who's convicted on election interference case. But she's not, because you know the previous election was the perfect one, ever the best one, okay? And Trump's, when he won, it was rigged and so on. That's what these guys are telling us. So we have here a person who interfered with the election, the last election, but not on Biden's side, no, on Trump's side. Remember who claimed that they were rigged? Trumpers, right? The Republicans, some of them. Remember? Those were the deniers. Yeah, the deniers. They tried to create all kind of terms to back you off, to say, get the fuck off, to stop. Oh my God, I'm intimidated by you calling me names. Childish, but it works with baboons and with cowards. So we're going to talk about the former Colorado clerk, Tina Peters, convicted in an election interference case. What else we have? Well, it seems like a Romanian in London stabbed a child, an 11-year-old child, and he was disarmed by an security guard whose name is Abdullah, the English Abdullah. So we have a Romanian or a Moldovan criminal, and we have an English, or maybe that's a Scottish name, Abdullah, I think it's a Scottish, saves the Londoners. All right, so that's another topic. Another topic we have here: with Iran vice president resigns after 11 days in office. And this is a guy that I listened to many times before in the interviews, and he's a very smart, self-contained, self-controlled guy. I will tell you about this person. I don't know, it's a gentleman, but in the interviews that were conducted by some Western media operatives or system operatives, rude, very rude, he smacked them intellectually. I watched them and I recommend He was the foreign minister under Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, the former president of Iran, another smart guy that Now, Bulgaria seizes record haul of heroin. Tens of billions of billions of dollars worth. Zelensky gets billions. These guys, it's almost $40 billion worth of heroin in one transport. Europe, you love that, right? Freedom and democracy. What else we have? We have the grapes that you can't have are sour. Remember that? The sour grapes. So if you can't have her, it's because you don't like her, not because she rejects you, okay? So the same here. We have experts who tell us that the Ukrainians really don't want to do anything in Kursk or in Russia. They just, just gave a signal. They just gave a warning. I think that's all what is going to be, because the Russians will smack them. I have no doubt that will happen. And I'm talking about the Kursk, but because they can't go further than they already went, which was a successful operation so far for the Ukrainians, with no finality. Finality is just maybe, I don't know, they're going to blow up the nuclear power plant in Kursk Oblast. I don't know. They destroyed a substation of, I think, gas distribution. That's successful for the Ukrainians. Nevertheless, they don't want to do anything. They have no aim. Ukraine has no intention to capture Kursk region, only seeking to protect own people from attacks. All right. Could be. So these are the topics. Let's go with the first topic, coming from The Hill. Hill is a garbage media outlet. Why? You see how things are flying, and then you realize after a while it's a pattern and say, okay, these guys are on this side, not on any side. So they create opinion. Former Colorado clerk Tina Peters, convicted in election interference case. There she is. A former county clerk in Colorado. They go after them. Now, this is the free country, but hey, maybe she committed a crime. But on the other side, they didn't commit anything. No. Who has become an icon among election deniers, was convicted of election interference money for a breach of her country's voting systems. So was found guilty of 4 felonies after lengthy criminal trial. She was cleared of 3 lesser charges. Prosecutors alleged Peters stole a county's employee's security badge to help a man associated with MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell gain access to the county's voter system to assist Lindell's false conspiracies about the validity of the 2020 elections. What did she do? They wanted to take a picture of a server. All right, so that is in the next article. Former Colorado one-time hero of election deniers convicted in computer breaches. Okay, and here they tell us what she did. There's the same thing over here, and it says that. All right, where is that thing where she said? Where they said the guy just wanted to take a picture, but hey, you can't. All right, she gave the identity, stood next to one attorney, I'm continuing to fight until this. I will continue to fight until the truth is revealed. It was not allowed to be brought during this trial. This is a sad day of our nation and the world, but we will win in the end, she said. Good job. She's not a loser, it seems like. So this guy wanted to take a picture of the server. I'm trying to find that particular paragraph. Not the server, but the hard drive right here. Peters allowed a former surfer. He identifies as what? What his sexual orientation? That's what I care. No, he's a surfer. From California, affiliated with this guy, Conan Hayes, to observe, look at, the software update and make copies of the hard drive using Wood's security badge. Peters told visiting officials that Hayes posting as Wood worked for her, but while prosecutors said Peters committed identity theft by taking Wood's security badge and giving it to Hayes to conceal his identity, the defense said Wood was in on the scheme to Peters did not commit a crime, but doing that. So she want to take a picture and observe that. You can't do that, only the government or whomever. Now, let's go to this person. So U.S. Representative Ilhan Omar, a member of the progressive quote-unquote squad, faces repeat primary challenges in Minnesota. Now, I'm not a fan of this person. Not a fan whatsoever. But the thing is a little bit different. Right here. Democratic Pop is one of the progressive House members known as the Scot and a sharp critic of how Israel has conducted the war in Gaza. He's trying to avoid the fate of two of her closest allies when Minnesota holds its primary elections. You got that? So we have an article that I covered yesterday. Progressive anger with AIPAC raises over Bush loss. So progressives are growing increasingly angry with the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, AIPAC, after squad member Representative Cori Bush, not a fan of, primary loss earlier this week. Bush was unseated by fellow Democrat Pop in a primary where AIPAC spent aggressively against her. Just weeks prior, the group poured $15 million in a primary to defeat Jamal Bowman, not a fan of that person. Both races taken together, AIPAC invested nearly $24 million to take out two of the most prominent black members of the left-wing cohort. Right there, and now is her turn. So you criticize that, you got their boys to take you out with money. I thought that people vote. So how come the money is so important? You tell me advertising? Is that what it is? So it's not the money, it's not the people, it's how you propagandize the people, you change their opinion so they can vote. So money makes democracy, or your statements, who you are? Well, you know. And that's regarding a foreign country, not even an internal affair. You can call it an internal affair, but it's something that garbage. Garbage. That's the way. They said they will do it. I covered it in a video in the past. So this is the situation with these guys. Let's go to the next article. Associated Press, August 13, 2024. Man charged with attempted murder in stabbing of 11-year-old girl in London tourism hotspot. And I picked this article from some before, and they didn't give us a name. Now they gave us a name. A man accused of stabbing an 11-year-old girl in London's bustling theater district was charged Tuesday with attempted murder. All right. The girl has Ioan Pintaru. That's a Romanian name. Put the girl in a headlock and stabbed her 8 times, seriously wounding her. Prosecutor said, "Imbecile." I hope he gets what the law determines, which is long years, or maybe if she's not going to survive, I hope she will. He would receive that thing. Anyway, the girl was hospitalized and required plastic surgery for wounds to her face. So she's not dead. Very good. Shoulder, wrist, and neck area, prosecutor David Burns says. And we find out who the savior was. Security guard disarms attacker after girls and woman stabbed in central London. A security guard said he tried to save an 11-year-old girl and a 34-year-old woman as they were attacked by a man wielding a knife in London's Leicester Square, one of the busiest tourist destinations in English capital. So we find out that a man believed to be one of the suspects had been arrested. This one, they didn't tell us who the guy is. But we have the guard, who gave his name as Abdullah, 29, told Scot, told PA Media he was working at a nearby top. Very good. Thank you very much. So you see, the Ioan Pintaru, or whatever it is, Pintaru and Abdullah, the English people, they create a lot of, right. All right, let's move to the next one. The Telegraph. The West is fighting us with the hands of Ukrainians, says Putin. 100%. I agree with that. I've been saying that, and many like me, from a long time. And unfortunately, brothers are fighting brothers. Next one. This is the person who I used to watch a lot, extensively. He was part of that nuclear deal that Trump came and said, you know what? Yes, my country signed that agreement with you, but you know what? My country says, change my mind. So there's a contract. So like you buy a house, you sign a contract with the bank, let's say, if you get a loan, and the next day or after a while, the chief, the guy in charge of that bank or some manager says, you know what, Emil, we're going to take the house because here's the contract. We change our mind. That's what Trump said and did. So is that right? I don't think that's right. You can change your mind, but still. So this was one of the guys in charge of that from the Iranian side. Iranian vice president resigns after only 11 days. Why? Here he is. He is the then Iranian foreign minister Mohammed Javad Zarif. Right, speaks during a press conference. Iran's vice president Mohammed Javad Zarif is resigning, leaving President Masoud Papapap cabinet with just 11 days after his appointment. And I'm quoting, "I am not satisfied with my work and regret that I have not been able to fulfill expectations," he said. Now he's the moderate politician. When he was negotiating for Iran then and during the interviews, he was an extremist. He was an extremist like President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. They were portrayed as extremists, and now he is a moderate. Why? That's the way these guys report the media, and they shape opinions, my friend. Don't fall for that. So now he's a moderate. I like the way he thinks. I like the way he behaved. Zarif hinted that the selection of ministers of the president's cabinet, new cabinet, had been the reason for his decision. At least 7 of the 19 ministers nominated were not his first choice, according to Zarif. All right, well, go and watch some videos with Zarif interviewed by American operatives, system operatives. They're not. Anyway. Bulgarian customs seized a record haul of heroin at port worth $38 billion. Who the hell has that money? Who? Bulgarian authorities have seized some 436 kilograms. That's about, let's say, 1,000 pounds. Thank you very much. 960 pounds of heroin at the Black Sea port of Burgas. The district prosecutor's office said on Monday the heroin was stashed in 434 packages hidden inside the officially declared cargo of a trailer. Got that? Where's that going? To what? To Europe. So all right? Ukrainska Pravda. Donald Trump tells Elon Musk how he warned Putin against invading Ukraine. And this is what Putin said. That's exactly what happened. I was there. All right, my friends. He warned. This guy warned. Where is that? This guy. That's exactly how Putin looked at Trump when Trump warned him. Like, right there. Bam, bam. I mean, I like the guy. I'm not saying I don't like the guy, but anyway, maybe this guy could have an understanding with this guy for the benefit of most of us, or the peace and so on. So let's see what these guys claim, or whatever Trump said. And we have U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump, during an interview with billionaire Elon Musk, has heavily criticized U.S. President Joe Biden and blamed him for Russia's invasion of Ukraine. It's not him to be. And remember, why don't you warn your military-industrial complex, buddy? You don't warn Putin. If you have such a big balls, Donald Trump, why don't you go and threaten or warn your institutions that supposedly were in charge of, which is FBI, CIA, NSA, the military, the Pentagon? You wouldn't fucking dare. Why? During his entire campaign in 2015 and the beginning of 2016-17, when he was in office, he always praised these guys. He was afraid not to be with it band-aid over there. Let's put it mildly. So why don't you go and threaten your guys, warn your guys, because some of those guys were part of it. You warn Putin? What is Putin going to do? Bend over, take it like exactly. So when I hear this, I warn Putin. Go and warn Pentagon if you dare. In the military industrial complex. Go and warn the bankers if you dare. And the group if you dare. CIA, FBI, those guys are in charge. Those guys are doing our policy. Plus the State Department, who's owned by the same guys. Go and threaten them. Warn them. I triple dare you. You would not do it. But you warn Putin. That's what you do. Nevertheless, let's move on. Now we have the sour grape garbage. Experts assess, okay, when these guys are allowing me, whether Ukraine needs control over Kursk nuclear power plant in Russia. They will not. They will need it, but they can't take control. They will need it. In a comment on New Voice of Ukraine, this guy, a doctor in physics and mathematics, oh my God, there he is, and former employee of the Institute for Nuclear Research of the National Academy of Science of Ukraine, stressed that seizing the plant is not in Ukraine's interest. Anyone who seizes a nuclear power plant bears full responsibility for nuclear safety. And why do we need that suitcase without a handle? Well, you are a doctor in physics, mathematics. All right, so why don't you stick with that one? I mean, if you put me this, I'm not saying he should not have political opinions or assessments, but they put me that he's a doctor in physics and mathematics, and he's telling me, those guys don't need this. What do you know about this thing? Give me something else. Telling me he's a smart guy, very knowledgeable, and he has, this and that. Balls and so on. But they put me there like, oh my God, he's like, not, it's like, you tell me, like LeBron James. LeBron James is tell us about like football. You can have an opinion, but you're a basketball player. You're good, very good at that one. It doesn't mean you should not have an opinion or you should not be knowledgeable, but when you say something like this, why should I listen to you? Who are you? You're just another guy like me. So we have our assessment has the same weight. When you say, oh, the whatever actor, let's say an idiot. I have so many that I can't even, when you have so many you can pick up. What the hell is his name? De Niro. Let's say De Niro. He comes and tells us. Or Clooney. He comes and tells us, we should do this, or we should. You have no authority whatsoever. You're barely literate. But it's okay. You could say whatever you want. But when people promote these guys that are being, oh, Clooney said that. Okay. All right. Let's see. Maybe you say something smart. Let's assess what you said. But not, oh, because he said it. Or a basketball player. Or a, weasel over there. That is what they do. Why? Because the baboons, there it is. So they don't need it. They don't need it, but they want it. Because they want Zaporozhye nuclear power plant back. Why? Because that's theirs. Now, Ukrainska Pravda, operation in Kursk Oblast. Ukraine's foreign ministry says Ukraine not interested in taking Russian territory, but wants to protect its citizens. That's the extent of which you got. That's all you got. You're not going to go further, much further than that. The Russians will destroy you. And if they can't, they have nuclear weapons, so they will stop whomever they want. So again, we know you already are stopped to a certain degree. And here we have Ukraine form. Ukraine has no intention to capture Kursk region, but only seeking to protect own people from attacks. Well, that's good. That's good. Who are you fighting for? Not for your nation's survival, because you have Zelensky Stein, you got Shmihal Stein, you got Umerov, not a Stein, but he's a Tatar from Crimea. And then you have Yermak Stein in charge of you. You have even Oleksiy, a Ruski, in charge of you. So who's defending you? Who's giving you money? Oh, those guys from far, far away? Really? And your neighbor here you're fighting. Very good policy. Remember, there's something like this. In many cultures, you should be friends with your next door neighbor than with a guy from across 3 towns away. But somehow our ancestors were baboons, right? No, they were not baboons. But these guys turn all of us, or try to turn all of us, into baboons. You know how? With the children. With the children in public schools. That's the beginning. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.